Hello, welcome back to Marta from Sparta. And in this episode, we will do two projects which are Frida inspired. You guys voted that you want Frida inspired project to go first. So we're starting with the Frida first, and the next week we're gonna do Sarah Jessica Parker inspired project. So why print out the most famous Frida's quote, which we will need for this project? We also gonna need all the sweatshirt and pair of shorts. So now I have to make a decision if I want the design to be in the front or in the back of my sweatshirt. We also doing stencil shorts, and we're gonna do phone case holder. So it's gonna be like one cute, one theme set, which I am really excited about. So before I'm gonna actually design and paint my sweatshirt, I really have to think if I want it in the back or in the front. And I secure my table with a PP pad because we have puppies, so we have plenty of those, and they are the best way to prevent leak. I'm gonna do the same thing with my sweatshirt. I'm gonna put a PP pad in between the layers, so whichever side I'm gonna decide to paint on, the other side will be safe from the paint to leak through. And then I'm gonna also use, I thought I brought it. Oh yeah, I did. I'm gonna also use sewing chalk, because sewing chalk we can just shake it off from our clothes or wash it, to sketch my design on the sweatshirt. And it's gonna be very easy design. We will draw 3 circles basically and few triangles, because we're doing pretty much very surrealistic Frida portrait. And then we're gonna do that. We'll do the same thing which we did in one of my sweatshirt videos. I'm gonna use a house paint to create a background, and the reason why I do that is if I will paint the background with a white house paint, the other colors gonna look more saturated, and there will be no need of putting multiple coats, because after 1 or 2 coats we should be able to accomplish results we want. Because for example, this paint, it's very thin, so it requires multiple coats. If I will use the white background, I'm gonna do only 2 coats. Without the white background, I'm gonna probably have to put at least 5 or 6, which makes it everything stiffer or thicker. So any white house paint you have, it will. So I decided to actually do it in the back, and I'm gonna do Frida portrait like a super big, but on the back of my shirt. Sweatshirt, and I'm gonna also try to distress the front of the shirt, but this is like a last piece of puzzle which I am planning to do. So I am definitely going with the back of the sweatshirt, and the reason for it is if I'm gonna do the shorts with the most famous Frida quote, I don't want the front to be like very busy shorts with a quote and then her portrait. I think it's gonna look better if Frida will be on the back and the quote gonna be all around the shorts with her quote. Even if the back will be very busy, it's still, I think it's not that biting. So I will do that. That's my final decision, and now I'm gonna grab my sewing chalk and try to sketch. So I'm gonna zoom on the sweatshirt so you can guys see what I'm doing, and yeah. It doesn't look like Frida yet. It totally looks like a Mickey Mouse, but trust me guys, and the chalk will come off. What I like about the chalk is, like, if you're gonna make mistake on your fabric, you can literally rub it off with a wet paper. So as I said, we're drawing 3 circles and kind of like a triangle. So we're gonna cover this area with a white house paint, and we're gonna wait for the house paint to dry. to actually do the next step. Also, don't worry if you don't know how to draw, because making a Frida shirt, it's gonna be super easy. We're gonna make one triangle, two huge circles and one small circle, and the rest of it we're just gonna have fun, because we want to make very surrealistic, super fun looking Frida portrait. It doesn't have to be like totally full coverage, but I think you don't want to see too much of the color of your fabric. You will get better results later on. I don't want to also put like a super thick layer, because I don't want the sweatshirt to get very stiff. I didn't mention that originally. The design which I draw, it's a little bit smaller than what I'm gonna trace it later with the colors. So you will see when you're gonna watch the whole video, you will see what I mean later. But draw it like a half of the inch smaller than your original size of Frida will be, unless you're doing different look of Frida than I do. This is just the idea. But if you wanna do surrealistic Frida like mine, then make it like a half of the inch smaller than your original design will be. That time I'm gonna pop up in shorts and stories and on TikTok to show you step by step. But so far we're doing huge triangle and 3 circles using white house paint, and this gonna turn into super fun portrait of Frida. Trust me. So basically that's what we are ending up with, and kind of like a weird looking Mickey Mouse. And we're gonna leave this to dry, because we need this layer to be super dry in order to work for the next step. Wash your paintbrush really good, because house paint actually destroys the paintbrushes pretty fast, and we're gonna use the paintbrush for our shorts very soon. In the meantime, we're gonna work on our phone case when the semi Frida is working, drying, I mean. And as you see over here, I didn't do perfect coverage, because the whole idea of this image, I wanted to be very artistic, kind of like a spray look vibe. And then we're gonna distress this sweatshirt once we're done with like everything. So don't sweat to make it super perfect. Imperfect is fine. Just make sure you're gonna cover fabric like everywhere, even with like a very thin layer, but don't have color be too visible, and make sure the white is everything. That's the most important part. It doesn't have to be even perfect. In the meantime, since I couldn't continue finishing Frida's sweatshirt yesterday, I was working on promised cell phone uh, charm, right? Or I don't know, handle, whatever you call it. So I completed that yesterday when it was raining and I couldn't actually finish Frida sweatshirt, and I distracted myself also since I have some beads left from the case. I did this fun smiley face choker and matching bracelet for it, and I am so proud of it. I was wearing it today for the date with my mother-in-law, but overall I think it's perfect height. I actually use those clips, and you can design your own. So I print out Frida quote, so I'm not gonna make any grammar mistakes. And that's the quote I'm gonna use on my jeans because, as you know, we're doing Frida theme video, which you guys voted for. How I'm gonna do it? I ordered those stencils on Amazon, and apparently you can connect them together. But my experience with stencil is like, if this is not entirely super flat, the paint gonna leak and it's not gonna look even. So my plan is to use white permanent marker, trace every letter, and I'm gonna fill that every letter in later with a tiny paintbrush and the white paint. And it can be house paint or it could be like regular acrylic paint for 99 cents from the craft store. So let me put the time lapse on and let's get started. So this is how it will look after first coat of paint, and I think the second coat will do the job. And this is just after the light tracing with permanent white marker, and it's big job. It's a lot of painting and a lot of details, and I noticed that the harder the brush, the better it's easier to push the paint into the fabric. So it's very detailed work, and for now I'm just going over general shape, and then I'm gonna find even finer brush with like very pointy tip and finish the edges nicely. I'm kind of considering doing the quote also on the back of my jeans, but for now I'm just gonna do the front and see how much time it's gonna take, and then I will make the decision about the back. My Frida shirt is ready, sweatshirt. Yesterday, last night, I distressed it. I decided to actually remove the color, so it's gonna be like a more worn off, fun look. So that would be the front, and I'm wearing also Frida Kahlo shorts, and that would be the back. And you don't have to wear it together. I just felt too lazy to actually keep changing the outfits, but generally that's the shorts. Oops. And my shirt. So I actually changed the bottom so you can see more like what I would wear my Frida sweatshirt with. I have a skirt which is also sweatshirt, and I think they look super fun together. So I thought that's going to be pretty fun looking outfit. You can wear it with the shorts, pants, jeans, you name it, whatever. I like the very fun, distressed, messy look. I like the pastels.